Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 89 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
I'm the lady who hates saying her name.
This episode is sponsored by Joanna Lino. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you.
Oh, that was so good that time. All right, today we will be discussing chapter 18 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, The Weighing of the Wands. So make sure you've read that chapter and you're ready to climb that rock wall into all these details.
One would say this might be a heavy chapter because they have to wait so long.
It's been weighing on my mind. So let's go get some really cool, really expensive weekly profit news.
So, everybody, I didn't say all right, so you can't laugh at me.
Well, you just did.
Well, every year, Hallmark comes out with their keepsake ornaments, and they always have at least one Harry Potter ornament, but they've been doing, like, a series every year. Like, last year, I think there was 3 or 4 that you could get, and this year, they're stepping it up even more. So they announced their new keepsake collection, and they have 5 ornaments and 1 tree topper that you can purchase. But what's super cool is so first of all, they're continuing their tradition the past couple years of doing another storefront in Diagon Alley. So we're getting, and I'm not saying, but I'm saying, I called it, Weasley Wizard Wheezes. And then they're also doing they kind of started a series last year with the Sorcerer's Stone ornament. So Chamber of Secrets is coming out this year for the anniversary. And then lastly, there's this series that is coming out. So it's called Harry Potter Collection Hogwarts Castle Musical Tree Topper with Light. But then it integrates with these 3 other ornaments that are Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So Harry, Ron, and Hermione connect to the castle, like, through a cord that I'm sure is extra money. I have no idea. But it connects them to the castle. The castle on its own will play Hedwig's theme and do a light show, like, in your room. Like, the castle lights up, but it also projects lights, like, all over your room.
Bananas.
If you connect Harry, Ron, and Hermione, it will do 3 different shows that you can't do without Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Of course.
Yeah, and it comes with a remote.
My God.
It's legit. So, the tree topper comes in at a whopping $119. And then each Harry, Ron, and Hermione ornament, I think, is like $30. So for the entire thing, you're looking, $200.
Yeah.
That is like, I mean, yeah, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm
just kidding.
I
don't have that
actually
kind of cash.
I'm buying it, and I put it on a keepsake wish list and sent it to a store already, so they can call me when it's in stock.
So are they coming out with these, or announcing these things rather, because of, like, do they have, like, a Christmas in July sale?
They always just
something?
release their, like, yearly keepsake ornaments in July for whatever reason for, like, the following year. I don't think, because these are coming out July 13th, so it's a little bit before, quote, Christmas in July, but
Gotcha.
they always release them in July every single year. Last year, they released, like, the Niffler, Sorcerer's Stone, Honeydukes, all those good ones, so.
Yeah.
New year, new ornaments, and I'm pretty psyched.
Yup.
Yeah. I mean, does it do any other colors? I see green and blue.
I
Is
think
that
it's
it?
like a whole show, like a whole light show.
Like what they do at Universal. Is that what you're telling me?
So it said, let me read it really quick. Just, it's like not the whole thing, but just a little bit. It says, plug it into the included power adapter for constant illumination, and then press the button either on the included Hogwarts Crest remote control or on the back of the tree topper to start a sound and light show scene featuring music from Hedwig's theme. Connect one or more Harry Potter Storyteller ornaments, which is Harry, Ron, and Hermione, to unlock additional exclusive performances from Sorcerer's Stone that you can't access with the ornaments alone. Storyteller Interactive Light and Sound Christmas Tree Topper connects to a power adapter to see continuous light, and then the show starts when you hit the button. It's crafted by Orville Wilson, who is the guy who has done all of the Diagon Alley pieces the past couple of years. His stuff is really beautiful. But yeah, it doesn't give me like more colors, but they did this I think last year or 2 years ago with a Mickey Mouse, and it was like a legitimate projection show, like in your room.
Yeah.
It seemed really awesome.
I need this to be my nightlight.
You know,
Dude.
Katie and I have a pretty legit Harry Potter Christmas tree, so like I feel like I would do a disservice to everybody if I didn't buy it.
That's actually exactly what I was thinking.
Like, we already have such an extensive like Harry Potter ornament collection, we have to buy all the pieces, so...
You don't need to convince me.
I know.
Oh my God.
I already sent the order to the store. I mean, I told you that. We're getting all of them.
That's your
Hashtag
entire Christmas, Katie. You're
savings.
getting nothing else.
That's fine. I'll take it.
Yeah, they're so beautiful. I just love them. They bring me joy.
It's time for the recap.
That was so like elevator announcer.
That's what I was going for. Level 1. Wait, what's the Department of Mysteries level? I don't know.
Department of Mysteries.
Department of Mysteries.
I
Recap.
like turtles.
89.
All
All
right.
right.
88.
88.
Hold
You're
on.
right.
I do have something to add. The tree topper is 9.5 inches tall, and it really upsets me that it's not 9 3/4. Hey.
I agree with
True.
you.
They should have thought of that.
Someone drop the ball.
Come on, Orville. What you doing?
Way to go,
Drop that
Orville.
waffle.
Oh
He probably just needs to add a little popcorn kernel to the top.
my god.
Get it?
Yes.
Like Orville Redenbacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The door's over there.
The door's over there.
We don't have a door to our room,
The
so
hallway.
nice try.
Hallway's over there.
Okay.
Downstairs.
Here we go.
Recap. It's decided Harry has to compete in the Triwizard Tournament.
Dun, dun, dun.
Something about some binding magical contract or something. I don't know. So Madame Maxime and Karkaroff are furious. They think Hogwarts just wants more glory. But like, okay guys, you go fight dragons, breathe underwater for an hour, and fight your way through an enchanted maze. Just saying. Also, hashtag spoiler.
Step down.
The champions get the rundown of the rules and are sent off to bed. The Gryffindor common room explodes with cheers when Harry gets there. He's in no mood to celebrate. And he can't wait to see Ron for some peace and sanity, but his BFF doesn't want to see him.
Ruh-oh.
Ruh-oh, Ron.
Gosh.
Are you ready for it?
Dun, 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 dun.
So Harry takes a walk with Hermione, who has some wise words for him. He sends a serious letter, and it seems like it's Harry versus the rest of the world, minus a few people in his corner. After a few horrible days, Malfoy really pushes Harry's buttons, and it stinks. Some would also say that Hermione gets involved in it, and, she sinks her teeth into it.
Oh my.
Oh.
I thought about that on the way here, so I knew I had to put it in.
You'll never cease to.
Oh, gosh. So Potion gets interrupted, thank the Lord, for Harry, because he needs to see a guy about some wands. Harry gets interviewed by a beetly woman named Rita. Rita! Did you just burp, or was it you saying Rita?
I said Rita.
Oh.
sound
The
like a
four
burp.
champions, they
Sorry.
have their wands inspected and their pictures taken, and then we end on Harry getting a serious reply.
Dude.
Finally.
Mm-hmm.
About
I
time,
enjoyed that.
serious. I know you're like on the run and stuff, but let's go.
He's not really that far, though, now, is he?
Nope.
For them tropical boys.
They gone.
Making Fruit Loops.
Okay, guys. So, I didn't say the other one.
We're
Just
cutting
bad.
it down. We're slimming down.
Wait, before Tiffany starts,
Mhm.
did I already say this? Because if not, it should be a drinking game. Every time one of us says all right or so or all right so.
You're gonna kill the listeners.
All right, so is a
2
double
seconds
shot.
and they'll be like, oh, I just took 5 shots.
Right.
All right.
Don't
so
do it
let's
if
keep
you're
going.
underage. Don't drink underage. What?
I didn't say a word.
I don't know what I just said.
No
Don't
underage
drink and
drinking.
underage, so I don't know.
Be responsible humans.
Take your shot of pop, little kids.
Okay. So,
Here we go. Harry woke up feeling miserable and worried, because he's thinking about the night before. So he tears back the curtains of his bed, and he is fully intending on talking to Ron to force him to believe him about the cup. But alas, the butthead was not there.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if that word's allowed.
It is, because this is my basement. So Harry dresses and goes down into the common room and then on to breakfast. As soon as he got down to the common room, though, applause broke out. And this made Harry not keen on the idea of going down to the Great Hall for breakfast. He doesn't want any of this. So it was either stay there and be uncomfortable or go to the Great Hall and be uncomfortable plus hungry. Wait, that was opposite.
Yes. Stay, be uncomfortable and hungry, or go and not be hungry,
Correct.
but uncomfortable.
We
Correct.
undermined what you stood, Tiffany.
Katie. Thank you for understanding me.
You got it.
So the Creevy brothers were starting to corner him, so he thought it better just to go down to the Great Hall, because that would be better than having to deal with the Creevy brothers.
So, looking at your notes, because you've abbreviated Great Hall to GH, makes me think of General Hospital. Just a fun side note. So it's hard for me to look at it.
So Harry's going to go have breakfast at the General Hospital.
I don't know. It's very dramatic over there. Something crazier might happen there than in his own real life.
Oh my gosh. Luckily, Hermione shows up with a stack of toast, and she offers a walk. And I said she is the real MVP, because she just knows her friend so well that she's like, gets up, knows he's not going to want to deal with this, so she grabs some toast and meets him.
I love that.
That's a good friend.
Yeah.
for sure.
That's a quality friend. All right. Dang it.
It's a quality pooch.
A quality
I
pool.
was
That's
thinking-
a quality Herm.
She's more of a cat, so.
Oh,
That's a quality
ew.
feline.
I'm
What's a
saying
good
that to
word?
Ted all the time now.
Oh my god, that's a new thing.
Hmm.
Teddy, you're a quality feline.
He's not up here.
He heard
Quality oof. They head out for a walk and they make a beeline for the lake. The Durmstrang ship was moored in the lake and it was a chilly day. So they kept it moving and they munched on their toasties. Harry was then telling Hermione what happened after he left the Gryffindor table last night. So I'm going to read from chapter.
Also, did you know that toasties are actually a thing and not like a fun word to say about toast?
There's
yeah,
actually
they're like
a
grilled cheese.
Well, it's a book I read in Halloween. It's like there's 4 little ghosties munching on their toasties, telling big boasties. It's a book!
You can tell that she's a teacher to little kids.
Oh my gosh. So Harry tells her what happens, and Hermione says, quote, "Of course I knew you hadn't entered yourself," she said then when he'd finished telling her about the scene in the chamber off the hall. "The look on your face when Dumbledore read out your name. But the question is, who did put it in? Because Moody's right, Harry. I don't think any student could have done it. They'd never be able to fool the goblet or get over Dumbledore's." And we find out Ron's jelly, not with toasties.
But we don't know what he
honestly,
had for breakfast that morning. He might have had jelly on toast.
Hermione's like, isn't it obvious? Like, he's jealous. And Harry absolutely wants nothing to do with this. So it, like, makes him even more mad that Ron is jealous of this.
Yeah.
So there's a very interesting article on Pottermore
Aww.
titled, 6 Times Ron Weasley Was a Bit of a Git.
And they used the worst picture of him.
Oh, I need to open
from
this.
Goblet.
It's from Goblet, and he's a frowny puss.
Oh, I hate that picture.
Frown upside down.
So there's a couple of different times. So, the first time he makes Hermione cry. That time he stole his dad's car.
I
I
like
don't
the
think
last
that makes the get. I think that's invented.
the last sentence of "he stole his car" is "what a plonker."
No. And then the third one down is the time he got really jealous of Harry during the Triwizard Tournament. So I'm just going to read it because it's pretty short. It says, maybe it was the hormones, or maybe it was because things had started to get a bit more complicated at Hogwarts, but Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was a pretty special year for fans of Ron being the worst. One of the best examples was his reaction to Harry being mysteriously chosen for the Triwizard Tournament. Ron not only refused to believe his best friend's protest that he had not put his name into the Goblet of Fire, but then proceeded to act like a petulant and jealous idiot. Ooh. This is quoted, not my words, rather than support Harry in this time of great stress. This, to a certain extent, was understandable. It can't be easy to be constantly overshadowed by your best friend, one of the most famous wizards that ever lived. But boy, Ron did not handle that particular situation very well. There's also that other time he made Hermione cry.
Oh, that one is the worst in my opinion, but that's for another chapter.
We'll get to this in later books, but that time he pretended to be unconscious instead of just breaking up with Lavender.
Oh my god.
such a terrible thing.
I mean, I've had my friends text guys for me.
You're a coward. That's why you're not.
I mean, I've grown up now,
oh
but that was years ago. Yeah.
So it says, and finally, the time he stormed off during a hugely important quest, and I'm ready for that one in a few years.
I'm just gonna say this: I'm an advocate for Ron. I'm gonna stand in his court. I'm not saying that he is right in this at all, but they both have wrongs. You know what I mean? Him and Harry. They need to talk to each other. Communication is key.
Sure. But what about the initial reaction?
But also, Hermione didn't say anything to the next day. Yeah. Where was she to be seen?
At least she showed up with toast.
Toasties.
For their ghosties.
I gotta find that.
They were probably moldy.
I'll find it when somebody else is reading, and I'll read it to you. It's just a quick little...
Yeah, I mean, no, I will say he was completely in the wrong, but you also, like, people... Here's the thing. People just vilify him for it, but you also have to think these are kids. Like, they're going to learn from their mistakes when they were kids.
Yeah, but it still stinks.
Well, I completely agree.
All right.
Just saying.
Just as long as you agree with me on that part.
Sure.
Thanks. Here we go. So Harry's very angry. Listen. We act like we're married as well.
I don't know who he is.
Oh, you're a we.
No.
In this. Back to the book. Harry,
people, if they don't know us, are literally going to think we're, like, together.
Oh, my God. Harry is very angry at the idea of Ron being jealous. Harry feels like he's going to make a fool of himself in front of the entire school, and he doesn't want any of this, and there's no way out. He's feeling very, very trapped. So, Hermione says, look, it's always you who gets all the attention. You know it is. I know it's not your fault, she added quickly, seeing Harry open his mouth furiously. I know you don't ask for it, but well, you know, Ron's got all those brothers to compete against at home, and you're his best friend, and you're really famous. He's always shunted to one side whenever people see you, and he puts up with it. He never mentions it, but I suppose this is just one time too many. Harry's like, great, really great. I just feel like I feel both of them. Like it just stinks.
Like I you know, kind of like what Sarah's saying. Like I understand both sides of this whole rift right now going on between them, but at the same time, like, it's hard because you have to remember he's only 14, but like you would hope and wish that he would understand and realize that Harry doesn't ask for any of that.
Yeah.
But I think that in time he learns it. It just takes him a long time to learn it. But it takes Ron a long time to, like, overcome and learn about a lot of things. That's just kind of his personality.
Yeah. Well, I think, too, with Ron is that he is so used to people telling, like, his older brothers, like, they're so great at this, this, and this, and then telling Harry, you know, you're the chosen one, you're this, you're so great, you're so whatever, where he might not get all of those things as much. Even though there's great attributes about him, he probably doesn't see them in himself. You know what I mean? So that's also part of his issues that he needs tissues for.
Yeah, there's a lot of tissues. And Harry pulls out this line. People, what is that? Gawping? Gaping? Gawping?
Gawping.
Yeah, it's just a weird word.
It is a weird
People
word.
gawping at my forehead everywhere I go. And I say that makes my heart hurt. And then we discussed scars in the wizarding world and magical medicine. In episode, well, that was with Bev. That was the first Moody Felix Violet, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about how scars are like super rare in the wizarding world, because usually the things that would like give a muggle a scar, like a cut or something, can't be cured by a muggle. But if you were a wizard and you were to get cut, you can just heal it with magic, because it's like a muggle injury. So this scar that he has is caused by dark magic, so it can't go away. So it's like, number one, how we got it was extraordinary, but number two, it's like, that's a scar in the wizarding world. You just don't see it.
Right.
So,
Ron will get some. It's okay.
yeah.
He'll get a lot of them, unfortunately.
So Harry before was like, tell him I'd swap like anytime he wants, so he doesn't have to do the tournament. And Hermione's like, hard no, I'm not telling him anything. You need to talk to him yourself. Harry responds, I'm not running around after him trying to make him grow up. And I said, preach, son, you shouldn't have to. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it just was let be, and time kind of helped fix things.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Hermione just needed to tell him that she is not an owl.
I'm not an owl.
I actually really liked that line from the movie. That line is kind of a movieism where I was like, that was a good interpretation of it. Like, I think that it's witty, it was funny in the moment, and I liked it.
Yeah,
I agree.
it was good. So Harry yelled that last line so loud that several owls in a nearby tree took off because they were so alarmed. And Hermione then mentions that she's been thinking, and I said, well, that's new. And she said that when they get back to the castle, they need to write to Sirius. She says, write to Sirius. You've got to tell him what's happened. He asked you to keep him posted on everything that's going on at Hogwarts. It's almost as if he expected something like this to happen. I brought some parchment and a quill out with me. Always
Of
at
course.
the ready. Right?
She's like a Girl Scout. Oh, I don't know if that's their thing. I know Boy Scouts think it's always be prepared. I don't know. Is that what Boy Scouts do?
She's like, always be prepared.
It's a Vulcan sign. Always be prepared. I can't do it.
This.
I can't do it.
Live long
though.
and
You're
prosper.
doing it. You're currently
I know.
doing it.
No, but like I do it like that because I can't.
Well, it's all the same. All right. I didn't say the second one. Harry doesn't like the idea of writing to Sirius because he doesn't want Sirius to get caught. He knows that it's bad news bears if he told him, and it's a big deal that Harry was entered, but Harry doesn't know that it's like a bigger deal than all these other adults might think. And deep down, I think Harry knows that it could be like potentially something dark, but I don't think he's there yet.
His spidey
like,
senses haven't kicked in.
Yeah.
Potter
Yeah,
senses.
because you know how all these adults, like, as soon as he tells Sirius's radar is like up, and it's because he's experienced like the first war, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, I
So
agree.
shady stuff like this and weird stuff like this went down a lot, and I'm sure like that's why his antenna goes up.
Well, and I'm gonna go off of that saying like not only was he part of it, like he was in the thick of it, where some other people could have been like on the outskirts, so they like saw some effects of it, but he, I mean, was in it.
Yeah.
You know, in the eye of the storm, all that stuff. You know.
Yeah. Hermione goes on to say, Harry, this isn't going to be kept quiet. This tournament's famous and you're famous. I'll be really surprised if there isn't anything at the Daily Prophet about you competing. You're already in half the books about you know who, you know. And Sirius would rather hear it from you. I know he would. I mean, I like that her spidey senses are up, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I think that this moment is kind of it's almost like an introduction to how well they work as a team.
Yes.
And I almost kind of wonder if like this whole situation in Goblet of Fire is foreshadowing to Deathly Hallows. Like right now, Harry and Hermione Like, Ron is out of the picture right now. Harry and Hermione are learning how to work together. Hermione is teaching him how to do, like, the summoning charm. You know, she's gonna, like, go on and help him all the way until Ron opens his eyes and then comes back into the picture and all is well again. And, like, I feel like it's like a direct correlation to Deathly Hallows.
I like that.
I just want to say to that, Yas Queen. I did not think of that. And that makes me really happy. Anything that I can tie into 7 gives me, like,
you're gonna
a lot of joy.
You're gonna be excited because I have.
Do
things.
you?
Yeah.
I want to pull. I want to pull everything I can to 7.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
as we go through
book,
these last few books, I need to pull everything to 7.
Yeah. I think this book is where it really starts happening. Like, 3 is when things started connecting in the beginning to then. And, like, now is when, looking back, you can connect things to the future now.
Yeah.
I love her.
I like that, Megan. That was really good.
Joe.
I tried.
Harry agrees to write to Sirius, and he tosses his last piece of toast into the lake to the giant squid, and he got a little schneckski. They decide to make their way to the owlery to use another owl besides Hedwig, and I said, ooh, she's gonna be mad. So Harry sits down to pen or quill his letter.
Oh my gosh.
Dear Sirius, you told me to keep you posted on what's happening at Hogwarts, so here goes. I don't know if you've heard, but the Triwizard Tournament's happening this year, and on Saturday night, I got picked as 4th champion. I don't know who put my name in the Goblet of Fire, because I didn't. The other Hogwarts champion
We shouldn't sit next to each other when we're recording.
is Cedric Diggory from Hufflepuff. Hope you're okay in Buckbeak. Harry.
So cash.
Oh, boy. Basically, he wants to tell Sirius about the weight of anxiety that he's been feeling, but he can't seem to find the words to write down. And I said that breaks my heart because he wants to confide in him, but he isn't exactly sure how.
I think that, like, this, not to cut you off really quick, but, like, I think that this book really shows us how a relationship with James would have been with Harry. But because Harry has been conditioned his entire life to, like, never talk about anything with anybody who would be considered, like, a guardian, that he almost feels like he's being a burden on Sirius, even though, like, that's not the case. But to him, he's being a burden because he's never had somebody like this to go to where he can just dump these feelings on and, like, have no repercussions.
Right.
It's just new to him.
Oh, boy.
Hashtag Dursley suck.
Right.
Hashtag I wish Sirius didn't die.
Yup.
True. Hedwig goes right at Harry's side, and she is ready for her next outing when Harry breaks the news, and she is upset. And I said, this hurts my heart. And she hoots loudly, and her talons cut into his shoulder, and with her back turned to him, and the whole time he is setting up the other barn owl, and I feel so bad. Harry goes to apologize, and she clicks her beak and flies off, and I just want to yell, life is too short, Hedwig.
Whoa.
Love your boy.
Oh, Tiffany, you went there.
I'm sorry, it just makes me sad. Don't fight. Harry says, this isn't my fault. Like, I feel so bad. He's like Harry's so desperate at this time, and it just really hurts me.
Yeah.
So with no longer being able to avoid the rest of the school, Harry has to make his way back to his lessons, and he's not able to forget the fact that he is the 4th champion. And nobody else did either, and they are not nice. Katie, the Puffs were cold toward him for stealing their champion's glory. And it said, quote, Puffs rarely got any glory.
Third or nothing.
That's right, baby.
Just saying,
Ernie,
though, all my puffs should still be nice, right?
There you go. There
be
you go.
nice. Don't be jelly like Ron.
Be like Hermione.
Don't be jelly. Get together and fill your belly.
Oh my god.
Can that be the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't even know exactly what you said, but someone needs to type it at the top. All right.
I don't know what you said either, but I laughed. I almost said I laughed. I'm so tired.
Ernie Mac and Justin Finch Fletchley didn't talk to him the entire time they were repotting bouncing bulbs at the same tray. I said, awkward. Oh, hold on. You moved the thing.
Sorry.
Where am I? Okay.
Ernie
and
Mac.
then one of these bouncing bulbs smacks Harry hard in the face, and they laugh at him.
Hey, maybe Harry shouldn't have laughed at Ron when his broom smacked him in the face, okay? This is payback for year one. Movie version.
Shut up, Harry. Hermione was doing her best to make pleasant, forced conversation, but even Professor Sprout seemed to be distant with him. Not okay.
Yeah, that's not nice for a teacher to do.
Yeah,
it.
you can't be doing that. But,
Come on,
this is
Pomona.
Hogwarts, so
Snape.
they're hogging around, After what was a grueling herbology class, he wasn't looking forward to... Whoops, Care of Magical Creatures. Forgot what that was short for. Comp. Because they have class with the Slytherins, and this is the first time he would be seeing them since his name came out of the fire. And here comes Malfoy in all his glory. I hope you're ready. Ah, look, boys, it's the champion, he said to Crabbe and Goyle the moment he got within earshot of Harry. Got your autograph books? Better get a signature now, because I doubt he's going to be around much longer. Half the Triwizard champions have died. How long do you reckon you're going to last, Potter? 10 minutes into the first test's my bet. He's such a jerk.
Malfoy.
Like, usually I'm just like, oh, he's such a bully, but, like, I'm not gonna lie. Him in this part kind of made me laugh.
Because I can just see...
Like, that's snarky Malfoy.
I can see Tom Felton's swagger. You know what I mean? I can just,
Yes.
it's so easy to picture.
God, he was
10 minutes.
He was such a good Malfoy.
He really was.
Gosh.
He just needs a good shower.
Yes. Somebody tell him.
Okay, but just look into his eyes and it'll all be okay. Like, they are ice blue. Beautiful.
Ois. In today's class, they were going to take the Scroots for a walk because they're killing each other. They just have a little bit of pent-up energy, though. So the leash was to be fixed around the middle of the Scroot, and Hagrid wants Harry to come help him with the big one. So Hagrid's real intention, though, was to talk to Harry. You're a champion, Harry.
Thanks, Hagrid. I didn't know.
But I have to read a little bit, though. So Malfoy is, like, completely disgusted about the fact that they have to take the Scroots on walks because they're killing each other. Take this thing for a walk, he repeated in disgust, staring at one of the boxes. And where exactly are we supposed to fix the leash? Around the sting, the blasting end, or the sucker?
Try and put it around the sting, Malfoy. See how well that goes.
God, it just makes me think back to the last chapter, or 2 chapters ago, maybe, where Harry's like, how's the Scroots? And Hagrid's like, thriving!
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's something my dad would say about something that he's going on in his crazy gardens. I don't even know. Thriving! So, Hagrid says, no idea who put you in for it, Harry? You believe I didn't do it then, Harry said, concealing with difficulty the rush of gratitude he felt at Hagrid's words. Of course I do, Hagrid grunted. You say it wasn't you, and I believe you. And Dumbledore believes you and all. Wish I knew who did it, or who did do it, said Harry bitterly. Like, just makes me sad. So, during the class, every now and then there was a loud bang and the Scroot would shoot several yards forward, and that would drag the person holding the leash. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. But I like this last part because it's so incredibly true. Everything seems to happen to you, doesn't it? Hagrid says to Harry. But that's so true. Like, everything literally happens to Harry. I know it's a story, blah, blah, blah. Joe wrote it. But everything happens to him.
Poor little guy. I just want to pet his little head.
Why is it always you three?
Because that's how it's meant to be.
Man, we are very, we're
Sing-songy.
poets who don't know it today.
Oh, I know it. I'm not above tooting my own horn. Toot toot.
I could ring your own bell.
Hey, we have 2 bells over here.
Oh,
Technically
no.
3, but one is garbage. Like this
One is
podcast. Sarah is garbage.
Am I garbage and you're trash?
Is it the other way?
I don't remember.
I think I'm trash.
I think you are trash.
Tiffany Trash, TT. That's how you
there
remember.
go. That's easy.
We took a quiz, so we literally these
What?
things.
This is how, taking a side note to talk about life and the environment.
Okay.
Why would you put 2 boxes inside of a bigger box?
Because it's
It's a waste of things.
Resources.
Yeah.
It's Emperor's New Groove. And then I put that box into another box. And then I mailed that
Yeah.
box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a
Yeah, the
hammer.
plan.
God, I love that movie.
It is a
All
really,
right.
really good movie. Okay. So,
Let's go. Oh my god.
I'm probably
Hold
gonna...
on. We're crinkly. All right, bells are out. Bells
I'm
are out.
probably gonna sound a lot like Tiffany for part of this because, like, I just kept reiterating throughout all of my notes how bad I feel for Harry.
Yeah.
So he says, like, he starts out by saying, I'm just gonna read the beginning of this little section. The next few days were some of Harry's worst at Hogwarts. That sentence right there makes me so sad because he views Hogwarts as his home. So, like, he, for the first time in a long time, well, I'll keep reading. The closest he had ever come to feeling like this had been during those months in his second year when a large part of the school had suspected him of attacking his fellow students. But Ron had been on his side then. He thought he could have coped with the rest of the school's behavior if he could just have Ron back as a friend, but he wasn't going to try and persuade Ron to talk to him if Ron didn't want to. Nevertheless, it was lonely with dislike pouring in on him from all sides. So, like, even with Hermione being the great friend that she is, like, there's still so much disdain everywhere towards him that I can almost envision it as just being, like, suffocating. I don't know. And again, like, I know that both of them are being stubborn, and I, 100% get what Harry's feeling. You feel like you've done nothing wrong. You have someone's being mean to you because, you're not really understanding why they're feeling those feelings because they're jealous of something that they shouldn't be jealous of. Your best friend doesn't believe you or even seem to care about the things that you're going through, and, I just want to hug him. I just want to, jump through the pages and give him a hug and be like, I'll be your friend. Yeah. So it makes me sad. But, so he expected the behavior that he's been receiving from the Hufflepuffs because he was stealing their thunder. And, Ernie Mac and J. Finch Fletchley already said that to him pretty much. And, even Professor Sprout's already been cold towards him. So the next couple of days, he just kind of expected to get that behavior from the rest of the Hufflepuffs. And he always expects it from the Slytherins because, healthy rivalry, right? So he had hope, though, that the Ravenclaws would support him and Cedric. He was like, well, maybe they'll see the logic of it, right? It wasn't his fault. Maybe they'll support both of us. But they almost all thought he did it more for fame.
What about Cho?
I don't know. Well, Cho obviously is all about him.
What about Cho? I don't know.
But even Hedwig wouldn't come near Harry after using a different owl to send his letter to Sirius, and he still hadn't heard from Sirius, so he was even feeling alone in that aspect because he wasn't hearing back from him. So they're in charms class and they're practicing summoning charms, but Harry was just total rubbish at it, probably, and Hermione was right, because he just couldn't focus. His focus was on everything but lessons at this point. But I think that I'm assuming that we know that them practicing summoning charms right now in charms is major foreshadowing for how the first task is going to go down. And right. Again, I feel like this is foreshadowing of Deathly Hallows with Hermione and Ron working together.
You mean Harry?
Hermione and Harry working together to come up with a way to defeat the Horcruxes, because whenever they were alone, they were practicing together to figure out how to destroy the locket. So it was just a lot of back and forth of them them training and figuring out which ones work and which ones don't, and brainstorming, and it just seems very reminiscent for me of what we're gonna see again in Deathly Hallows. So after charms was double potions, which obviously for Harry was always the worst because it's double lessons with Snape, and they had potions with the Slytherins, so that was even worse. But him and Hermione get down there, and Malfoy is standing outside the classroom, and he has a new badge to show off. And it reads in luminous red letters that burned brightly in the dimly lit passageway: "Support Cedric Diggory, the real Hogwarts champion."
Woo 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 woo!
The real Hogwarts champion.
I just want to say it's pretty impressive that they fit all those words on a badge.
I agree.
I mean, that's a lot.
I agree.
And none other than Malfoy is the one who's showing it to him. He pressed it to make it change to a glowing green color that says "Potter stinks," and it flashes. So
I like that it flashes. I think that's very festive.
it is quite festive.
I like the ones in the movie when it changes, it goes, oh.
I know. Yeah, the noise, the sound effects. Yeah, I agree.
Gosh, it's been so long since I've watched it, I didn't even remember that.
It's also, you gotta think, like, it's pretty smart of Malfoy to be able to do that.
It is. It's
Yeah.
pretty clever that he is able to make those. See, Slytherins are cool. He's quite ambitious to come up with that.
Do you think what's like the wizarding equivalent of Etsy? He could sell them on there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have to think about that.
Maybe Etsy is a wizard thing and we're just being able to use the muggle side of it.
Truth.
Ooh. I like that.
So Harry notices Ron in the hallway, and he takes note that he's at least glad that Ron's not laughing at the badges, but he also notes that he wasn't sticking up for Harry either, just kind of standing in the background with his new BFFs, Dean and Seamus.
Dude, but honestly, like, let's think about this. What do Dean and Seamus think about Ron right now? Like, this dude just, like, dropped his best friend and came to hang out with you because he didn't have anybody else to hang out with, and then he'll drop out, like, you to go back to Harry.
Well,
That happened to me in high school because I had a friend that I honestly, looking back, think she, like, purposely would start fights with me and my friends so I would stop talking to them because she's like, when you don't talk to them, you hang out with me more.
yeah.
I don't talk to any of them anymore, but yeah, she
High
did
school,
that.
man.
What is that? There's, like, a Family Guy thing that's like, high school problems, or something like, these problems matter. They do at the time. Not in the long run, though.
Yeah.
Listeners in high school, those problems,
Dude.
don't worry about them.
Nope.
They'll go away.
And I'm sorry that you have high school with social media.
Yeah,
Oh god, that
honestly.
sucks for you guys.
I know
Sorry.
we said that before, but that blows.
So I just want to give a big old, like, forget you, Malfoy, at this line, because after he's showing off the badges, he then goes, "Want one, Granger? I've got loads, but don't touch my hand now. I've just washed it, you see. Don't want a mudblood sliming it up."
He is a turd.
Your hair's slimy enough for
He's-
everybody, Malfoy.
Like, this is
Hey.
obvious, but, like, he's just racist, and it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
maybe, like, racist isn't the right word, but, like, prejudice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredibly prejudice. Ugh,
Yeah.
Well,
don't
I mean,
listen
that's
to
all
your
he's been
father.
taught.
I know.
True.
So he like grows up.
He
Blame
does get
Senior.
better. So Harry's anger. So after he, like, says that to Hermione, Harry is pissed. He's like, he immediately curses Malfoy, but Malfoy curses him at the exact same time. And Harry shoots Furnunculus, but it hits Goyle. And then Malfoy shoots Densagio, which hits Hermione. So Furnunculus is known as the Pimple Jinx, and I pulled up the Wikia page.
Dr. Pimple Popper would love this chick.
Right. It says Goyle bellowed and put his hands to his nose where great ugly boils were springing up.
A boil for Goyle.
So the Pimple Jinx, or Furnunculus, is a jinx that causes a person to break out in boils when it comes in contact with their skin. The effects can be cleared by the Boil Cure Potion.
That's very simple.
Yeah, right. Well, he's only a fourth year, so, he's not going to know stuff that's hard to
name
hear.
of it.
It was for a time a favorite of HP, who used it twice in his fourth year. And it had unpleasant side effects if it happened to strike a person in conjunction with the jelly legs curse, causing the victim to sprout small tentacles all over their face.
I've never
Fun fact.
thought about, like, different curses combining to make other curses.
Yeah, it says here, I think that, is this at the end of this school year? I don't know when this happens, but it says he later uses it on Crabbe, which when combined with George Weasley's jelly legs curse, causes Crabbe to sprout tentacles on his face. It says it happens in the 94-95 school year, so I'm sure we'll come up to it. I don't remember that, but...
I vaguely do, but I don't.
So the etymology of furunculus is another term for... Furuncle is another term for a boil, which is derived from the Latin word furunculus, which means petty thief. So, there's that.
There's that.
Pimple stealing real estate on my face.
Yeah, for real. So then we have densagio, which causes teeth to elongate at a rapid pace. And this is the one that hits Hermione.
That picture.
I know, the picture on the Wikia is sad. It wasn't a pretty sight. Hermione's front teeth, already larger than average, were now growing at an alarming rate. She was looking more and more like a beaver as they elongated, past her bottom lip towards her chin. Panic-stricken, she felt them and let out a terrified cry. Densagio is a hex which causes the teeth to elongate at a grotesque, alarming rate, and a shrinking charm can be used to counteract this spell. So Hermione's hit with the spell from Draco's wand, and the incantation is derived from the Latin dens, which means tooth, and agio, which translates to increase or grow.
Densagio. It's Violet.
So, as I said, Harry hits Goyle, and I said, good for him, he deserves it, because, he's Malfoy's crony, and I'm sure that he had something to do with the Potter Stinks badges, even though he's probably too dumb to actually help him with that. And Snape comes out. Yes.
I need you to look at the Wikia for the Densagio hex from
the Lego Games picture. I know. The Lego Games picture is a picture of Draco with, like, one of those glasses, nose, mustache deal things on.
We'll be posting this link throughout the week and also on our blog on our website if you want to take a look at that picture.
Maybe we'll post picture on our Instagram because it's definitely gram-worthy.
It's gram-worthy.
So Snape comes out of the classroom and into the hall and asks what all the noise is about, and he immediately just asks Malfoy. He wants nothing to do with Harry's story, doesn't care at all, immediately looks to Malfoy, and Malfoy says Potter attacked him. And he hit Goyle. Snape, again, doesn't care that Harry's trying to interject, saying we attacked at the same time. So, like, yes, I'm in the wrong, but we both did it. So he sends Goyle to the hospital wing immediately, and then Ron interjects and says that Hermione was also hit. Snape looks at her and says, I see no difference. We've talked about this moment numerous times. We've brought it up a couple times. Definitely in the Great Snape debate we talked about it. Like, this is not okay. This scene alone is probably what brewed my hatred for Snape a long, long time ago. I cannot handle this scene. I understand that, like, Snape gets better. I appreciate him in Cursed Child for sure. Like, but I can't handle him in this book. I can't handle him here. He legitimately makes me so angry. I can't believe a teacher would act that way towards a student, Harry Potter's friend or not. Like, it's ridiculous, uncalled for. I hate him here. Hate's a strong word. Using it here. Cannot stand him here.
It's so bad.
It's bad.
And on top of that, he takes 50 points from Gryffindor, gives a detention to both Harry and Ron, who came to Hermione's defense, and it gives nothing to Draco or Goyle. Nothing.
So, no one can get mad at me, but I need this to happen. If you're...
Because you're always like, oh, well, but you have to see it from this side.
No. Actually, I have no. Here's my point. No, I have nothing to defend him with. So I want to know from the Snape people, because we know we've got Snapes out there. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, like,
I want to know. Like,
I don't think that
do you not condone this, or do you have a reason behind it? You can't tell me he's double agenting because he didn't need to do that. So
Right.
I would just want to know what you have to say. I'm not going to argue with you. I just want to hear. And no one on the group can argue. If you do, I'll give you the boot personally. But I just want to hear what you have to say. It's going to get heated. But no one's allowed to argue. I swear. I will kick you out of the group.
I really don't think that there's a valid reason that anybody can give me.
You're not a Snapey Snape. We got to hear from them.
I know, but like even like honestly, like nothing that I'm shouting this out to the people who are going to respond to the post if they do, but like literally there's nothing you can say to me that will convince me that any of this scene was okay.
I just want to hear. I just want to know. And if they have nothing, you say you've got nothing. It's okay for you to say, like, I'll tell you when Dumbledore's being a you know what. Like
I love Ron.
But...
He's one of my favorite characters, but like he just makes me so angry in parts of this book. I just want to shake him.
I'll tell you when Remus is wrong.
Because
there's plenty of times.
Oh, and he is wrong.
You can even say that about Molly. Like later on in this book, she makes me like crazy mad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to hear what people have to say, because
no character's perfect.
No, that's what makes this so great.
That's what makes these stories as good as they are, that these characters are so real and that we can have these conversations and like legitimately have healthy debates about what we like or dislike or what we are for or what we are against. But I'm just saying, as an adult looking back at this scene,
you ain't no adult.
True dat.
True. My age tells me I'm an adult, unfortunately, but looking back at this,
none of this is real.
It's just this makes me mad.
Yeah, it really is garbage and trash. It's both. And I'm so with Harry here. He legitimately thinks about casting the Cruciatus Curse on Snape here. You know, I bet if he would have done it, he would have been full. I bet it would have worked. It would have zapped him. Yeah. Not as hard as it zapped Bellatrix in 5, but I bet it would have worked.
It would have, because his anger was like, it was so warranted. And, you know, it's just ridiculous what Snape pulled. Snape also makes it pretty clear here that he plans to poison Harry at the end of class. So.
Can't wait.
Yep. Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Let's just everybody take some potions.
I do have a question about that though. Like, how is that allowed?
Because he has an antidote.
Yeah, but like, what if you don't have the correct one because the kid messed up the potion?
I don't know.
Even if you have an antidote, you're still going to experience, even temporarily, the effects of being poisoned.
Right.
So you're still inflicting hurt.
Truth.
I don't know.
Not okay with any of the scenes.
We're gonna be hanging people in the dungeons. God, I missed the screaming.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Attention, dear Swishers. Adventure is out there. Why settle for ordinary chain store coffee when you can have an adventure in every cup with Expedition Roasters? Artisanal roasters of pop culture coffees. Now you can experience a little theme park magic every day at your home. Each theme bag features custom artwork by guest artists that make it perfect for displaying in your kitchen or office or anywhere you want. So, try one of our premium wizarding roasts like Booksmart Blueberry, Charming Chocolate Cherry, Cunning Caramel Crunch, or Big Hearted Butterscotch. All of our coffees are certified gluten and allergen free, so start your coffee adventure today at expeditionroasters.com and use coupon code SwishFlick15 to save 15% off your first purchase. Brew your happy place, y'all. But also they have tea. Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks, Tiffany. My name's Tiffany, and I like Expedition Roasters. I'm sorry to anybody who hates when I talk like that, but you're just gonna have to deal.
If they don't deal with it by now, then I don't know what to tell them.
And you have a stop button on your phone or car or wherever you're at.
Yeah. Just turn it off. All right. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible's offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. You can go to audibletrial.com/swishflickcast and browse all of the audio programs, download a free title, and start listening. Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. You can get all 7 of the Harry Potter books, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Quidditch Through the Ages, and more. I listen to all the Harry Potter books on Audible on my long drives to and from work, especially now that there's extra traffic on my drive, and I just get to sit there and add an extra 20 minutes onto my drive every day.
Super fun.
Every day. It's super cool.
So, go and sign up and you get a free audiobook. You can pick whatever book you'd like. Just go to audibletrial.com/swishflickcast.
Good job.
Cool.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Megan.
So here's Harry in double potions, right? He's gonna get poisoned. But
Can't
for once, Colin Creevy, MVP, hero of the episode, comes to take Harry to a meeting for all the champions.
MVP.
And Snape, tries everything in his power to make sure that Harry has to come back at the end of the lesson. He's like, all right, fine, I guess you can go, but leave your bag. And then Colin's like, but the champions are supposed to. And then he's like, fine, get out of my sight. Yikes,
Ooh.
Snape, you in a mood.
He's in a super mood, though. I wonder what's going on behind the scenes, though.
I bet you he's on edge from Moody, partially.
No
So,
excuses.
These are what these Snapes are gonna come at me with. Tell me what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, Snapey. Explain his Snapey senses. I just saw the Spider-Man movie, so that is in my head. So sorry, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Spidey senses.
Spidey senses.
It's so good,
Snapey
go see
senses, Harry senses.
What are Potter senses called?
Potter
And don't
senses.
say Potter senses.
I'll think of something.
Lightning scar senses.
I was gonna say lightning something.
Scar is tingling.
I don't know.
My scar is tingling.
But
Yeah, my scar's tingling. I'm sorry. I'm so loopy.
you're fine.
Okay. Go,
So
kid.
Harry gets out, thankfully, and Colin's all like, "Isn't it amazing? You being champion?" And Harry's like, yeah, real cool. Not really." And Colin thinks that they're taking pictures for the Daily Prophet. Harry's thrilled because, wouldn't Ron get a kick out of that? Because didn't he just say that the other night?
Yeah.
So Colin drops him off in a small classroom. So the classroom had been mostly cleared. Some of the desks pushed together to make a long table for the judges to sit at. There's a witch in magenta robes that Harry had never seen before. That echoed really weird in my ear.
I think Tiffany hit it.
I know.
I wanted to be first.
Bagman is stoked that Harry's there. He says there's nothing to worry about. It's just the wand weighing ceremony. It's just to check that their wands are fully functional. And he introduces Harry to Rita Skeeter. Rita. So that's the lady in magenta robes. Quote from the book. Her hair was set in elaborate and curiously rigid curls that contrasted oddly with her heavy-jawed face. She wore jeweled spectacles. The thick fingers clutching her crocodile skin handbag ended in 2-inch nails painted crimson.
What?
Crimson. No, I want you to be her for Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I want to know.
Wouldn't that be so good, though?
Yeah.
How does someone live life with 2-inch fingernails?
Ugh. I don't know.
How do you do the
What is
things
that, like
you need
that?
to do every day?
That's
I know what you're
wrong.
talking about,
Well, that's
and
why
I
she
don't
has
know.
a quick quotes quill, because she doesn't have to type anything.
2
Okay,
inches is
you might
long.
not have to type, but you have to go to the bathroom.
Not if you're a wizard. You know, poo it
Yeah,
out,
I
man.
guess.
You just
Scourgify.
scourgify that stuff.
That's the sound it makes.
I just
Like taking a
no,
Brillo
thank
pad.
you.
Oh.
Ugh.
That's kind of what I imagine it feeling like.
Yeah,
Scourgify.
me too, so never mind. Don't they have
I'll go the regular way.
Scrub-a-dub-dub.
don't they have a Charmin version of Scourgify?
It's
Enjoy
called
the go.
The Mr. Clean approach.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser is like nice and soft.
You do not use that on your butt. Just saying, that is a cleaning product. We do not endorse that you use it on your body.
Katie. Why can't we have multiple episode titles? You don't use that on your butt.
It can't be an episode title anyways. We can't use that.
Why?
Truth.
We do what we want.
Just a booty.
It's just a booty.
It went all the way down to a tush.
Everybody's got a booty.
That's right.
Even Judy.
Even
Hey. Not blown up yet.
It might be scarred. There might be a chunk missing out of it. We don't know.
Could have been from the magic eraser.
Probably.
Probs.
Don't use that.
We just
Okay.
got too frisky. I took a bite out of them.
Oh my
Take a
God.
bite out of crime.
Rita Skeeter. So here's her fact file off of Pottermore. Because I don't want to get, like, too in depth with her, because we do our character analysis. So, but here's the fact file from Pottermore. So, birthday 1951. Someone somewhere out in the internet, like, determined that her and Bellatrix Lestrange were born in the same year, which means they would be in the same year. So maybe they were in Slytherin together.
Do we
I
know
need
for
them
sure
to be
she's a Slytherin?
Roomies?
like friends.
I don't think so.
Is Narcissa older or younger? I don't remember.
Younger.
I was-
No.
I was gonna
I
say
don't
older,
think she's
but I don't
older.
know.
Because I have it somewhere. Oh, so
This
Narcissa...
is your timeline?
Yeah, Narcissa was born in 1955. Just for...
Tiffany's mind is blown.
It's not complete yet.
Sarah, can you share it with us?
It's called Harry Potter Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey Stuff.
I love
my
it.
God.
That's a thing from Doctor Who. That's why I call it that. But it's not done
Oh.
yet. Like, I have to go... Wow. Words
okay.
are hard because I'm real
Yeah.
tired. I haven't really had time to look at it in the last couple of months. So I have to add things to it, but yeah, it's all in order too.
I need this in my life.
Yeah.
We just need to print it out and make it your wallpaper, Tiffany, in the basement.
Jesus, it'll be a
Ever.
long...
Be everywhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, sorry. I just wanted to know.
No, don't ever be
It
sorry
must
for
be
that.
on Pottermore, because if I have an exact date, I'll put that. If not, I put a little squiggly line for about.
I like it.
Sorry,
I can't
go
wait to
on.
actually see it. Rita's skills are bending the truth, puncturing what she considered to be inflated reputations.
Inflated reputations. Inflated reputations. Ooh, Rita Skeeter's got inflated reputations. Ooh. And she's heard about everything.
Because she's an illegal animagus.
Oh! So she uses her poisonous quill, and she can also turn into a beetle to eavesdrop on conversations with her skill as an animagus. Yes.
I really appreciate that you just sat there and let me finish my song.
Of course, it was brilliant.
No, you looked a little annoyed. You were like, is it over yet?
I wasn't annoying.
Did go on longer than expected.
I just let you
It
go.
was an unexpected song.
It was an unexpected song.
I think it was
fortnight
pretty
she
expected.
finished.
I'm going to read the highlights from this other article from Pottermore, which is in defense of Rita Skeeter. There must have been something good about her, which I think maybe someone had pulled at one time, so I'm just going to go real quick. She was genuinely good at her job, though, was she knows. The Beetle Animagus thing was pretty clever. I mean, if you're going to be a journalist, that's pretty perfect, right? Crickets. Okay.
Yeah.
Her writing was described as enchanting. Enchantingly nasty, according to Albus Dumbledore, but still enchanting, right? And she did sometimes stand up for what was right when she,
Yeah.
helped out with...
She helped Harry and
Yeah.
Hermione.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she did help Harry, though it was under blackmail from Hermione.
The last point you were making, she wrote some pretty awesome articles during the Second War
Yes.
that kind of she's the one who revealed that Bertha Jorkins had gone missing, and she was like, she wasn't scared, she wasn't holding back any of her stories that she was finding, which was pretty awesome in that time.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, as annoying as she is, it's super cool that she was putting out like all of these crazy stories that nobody wanted to believe, but
But see, also, she did stretch the truth so much that when she actually had a nugget of gold, like, no one's gonna believe you because...
Yeah. She's like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the girl who cried beetle. And she had a unique sense of style, and her pen was cool, and she wasn't a Death Eater. So way to go, Rita. Awesome. You're sweet.
She would have been a great Death Eater, though.
She really would have been.
She would have been, like, a bad news bear for the good side if she was a Death Eater.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, she could. I could see her going real evil. So I pulled some just like random fun facts about Rita since I wasn't gonna go like too far into like her actual character timeline or anything. So the Ministry of Magic has told Rita Skeeter exactly 514 times that they do not comment on top secret work at the Aura office. I believe this is a quote from Kingsley Shacklebolt. So her original name was supposed to be Bridget, and she was supposed to appear in the first draft of Philosopher's Stone. She was supposed to be interviewing Harry at the Leaky Cauldron on his 11th birthday, but she was cut from that draft, and Joe wanted her to appear in fourth year when Harry's fame was starting to oppress him.
Wasn't that on display in New York?
When I put this in here, I was like, this sounds like we've talked about it before.
I feel like I read it.
Help me out.
I feel like I read it. I think
that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember hearing about
book.
it, but I don't remember reading it there, but that doesn't mean anything.
That's cool.
Isn't it on Pottermore?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that like the actual draft with her in it was framed for us to read.
Oh, I don't know. We need to look though.
Like Joe's handwriting written out part of the book, and it was talking about a Bridget trying to interview him.
We need to find it if that exists.
Yeah.
Rita's so much better. I feel like every change she made is just like perfect.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
In the German audiobooks, Rita speaks with an American accent. All right.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Are you
Honestly.
stereotyping us Americans over there?
I'm stereotyping our media.
Yeah, that's fair. So just kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on this. Just, I'm not on anyone's side. I just thought of it. But, so although Rita has 3 gold teeth in the books, she doesn't it's okay. She doesn't in the film, Goblet of Fire. So Miranda Richardson, who plays Rita, and director Mike Newell both felt that they weren't right for her, with Miranda pointing out that gold teeth would make her appear unapproachable. So instead, she chose to have a diamond in one of her teeth, saying it was the perfect embellishment for an amalgam of sparkling brilliance and total hardness. So, thoughts on this? Where is the line between keeping what an author intended and then letting the actor or actress add their own flair to a character? Because they are taking it on. So, like, this is another point where I'm like, I have to look at the books and I have to look at the movies. I can't cross them.
I think the gold teeth perfectly embody Rita.
Yeah.
I feel like it just reminds me of Jafar. Whoever has the gold makes the rules. And then he smiles because he's like a snake.
Yes.
You know?
So good.
And Rita's like a snake to me. And as long as Joe was okay with it, then I'm okay with it. But like, I mean, and I get what they say, like sparkling brilliance and a total hardness. Yeah, whatever. But like, I don't know. I venture to say I'm more disagreeing with the change, but if Joe is okay with it, then I guess I have to roll.
Right.
Would you say you were rolling with the changes?
Yeah.
I was gonna try and make a joke, but thanks for doing it for me.
So it doesn't bother me, but here's my point. I'm the type of reader where, and I've said this a million times, legitimately not a strong reader. But I skip over things, so I'll forget by the time I watch a movie the details. So like I wouldn't remember that her teeth were gold. So like things like that don't bother me when I'm watching a movie. Like the bigger ticket items are the things that bother me if they're different or if they've changed them. Like My Sister's Keeper, for example, they changed the entire ending of that. Like that made me mad. Why would you change the ending of the book? But whatever. Right. Like, so for these books, like Katie said, take them. There's the books and then there's the movies. So, like, it's just whatever. Like Hermione's dress color changing, like it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
In Hunger Games, the hair color of people, whatever. Jen was very upset about it. I'm like,
I don't remember that, but the dress change bothered me.
I didn't
Why?
remember. I probably because the color didn't look right on her. I don't know. I
They
have no
said
idea.
that the reason
Doesn't
why
look right. You can wear
I
whatever
think
the heck you want to wear. That
when-
makes me mad.
when we went to the studio tour, we did this special like behind the scenes thing with the costuming department, and they talked specifically about Hermione's dress and how I think that Mike Newell wanted it to stay periwinkle. I think it was supposed to be periwinkle, right? But the costuming department put it on Emma, and they said that it didn't look right with her skin tone, so they changed it to
She
pink
blended
because
too much into the
yeah,
like, the
she
movie,
blended too
the
much
background.
into it. So with the pink,
well,
it
use
made
your
her stand
stinking
out.
computer and change whatever you need to change. Dumb.
You want her to
Dumb.
change her skin color?
No, change the effects of the movie.
Oh my god.
What did you have? 3 minutes of a scene? Get over it.
I mean, but like this is the thing, it doesn't bother me.
I won't.
That kind of stuff usually doesn't bother me either,
I won't. Agreed, because like a color's a color, whatever. But I don't
unless
think
the
that
color holds significance.
right. I don't think that's what bothered me so much. It's more like, who knows the character more than Joe?
I agree with that.
That part, I'm like, I understand you're playing it, but
Like, the reason for the change with Hermione, I can get behind. The reason behind the change with Rita, I'm a little bit more on the fence with, because, like Katie just said, it was more of a decision that Miranda Richardson seemed to make, instead of, like honestly saying, like, no, I think that fits her character better. And it's like, but does it? Because Joe said that this does.
Well, didn't Johnny Depp say with the eye thing with playing Grindelwald, like that was just something like he thought of to like make him a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Joe was okay with it. Like they talked about it, I guess. So like I don't know, stuff like if it ends up in the movie, I'll say it like this: if it ends up in the movie, and it's a movie like that Joe is doing, I would assume that she okayed it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
fair point. All right, back to the actual book itself. Rita asks if she can have a little word with Harry before they actually get started with the weighing of the wands, so she grabs him with her, quote, scarlet taloned fingers and steers him to a broom cupboard. Okay. I never noticed this. In the film, Rita takes him aside for his little interview. Harry's like, we're in a broom cupboard, and Rita says he should feel right at home. That's
What a
awful.
Horrible woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking terrible.
I never caught that either.
I know, I read that and I was like, what?
Yeah, I remember watching the movie because I don't think I remember her saying it and then heard it in the movie.
I'd have gotten up and left. Bye.
That was a low blue.
Ugh. Anyway, so she sits on an upturned bucket. Harry gets a cardboard box. Real cozy in there. And
I'm just saying, if I sat on a cardboard box, I'd flatten that thing.
well, maybe it's full.
I guess.
She's like, Harry, do you mind if I use a quick quotes quill? And when Harry's like, what? She's like, awesome. He doesn't know. We're using it. So a quick quotes quill is a quill that's enchanted to be set up on a sheet of paper without any human support. It's all magical, you know, Wizarding World stuff. And when activated, it writes an exaggerated account of whatever is said in its presence. So it does not record verbatim of what the subject says, but rather takes the words and creates sensational and inaccurate tales that have little resemblance to the actual events that are going on. So she carries an acid green quick quotes quill in her crocodile skin handbag. And when she wants to write, she sucks briefly on the tip and then sets it on a sheet of paper. And you can buy a quick quotes quill at the Wizarding World.
You can. They look really cool.
Probably wouldn't
You have to
advise.
stick it in your mouth.
Yeah, I probably
Props.
wouldn't advise doing that, but, you know, if you want to suck on a quill, get a sugar quill at Honeyduke's. So, testing out the quill, it says, attractive blonde Rita Skeeter, 43, whose savage quill has punctured many inflated reputations. Do you think she's actually 43? Or does it make her, like,
No.
younger or something? You know what I mean?
She's not 43.
I just think that'd be funny if, like, her
I
and the
don't
quill
think
were,
so,
like,
at least.
BFFs, you know? So they,
No,
like,
I bet
help
it
each other
is.
out.
Yeah.
So she starts to interview Harry, and she's immediately asking, like, so, why'd you enter the tournament? And he doesn't even answer because the quill's distracting him. So, like, he peeks over and it says, an ugly scar, souvenir of a tragic past, disfigures the otherwise charming face of Harry Potter, whose eyes... And she's like, Harry, don't look at the quill. Just ignore it. So Harry, for the billionth time, is like, I didn't enter. I don't know who put my name in the goblet. Rita clearly doesn't believe him. She's like, there's no need to, like, be scared of getting in trouble. Everyone loves a rebel.
Everyone loves a rebel, Harry.
That's a good line.
And again, he's like, I didn't enter. So she switches it up. She starts asking him about the tasks. Are you excited? Are you nervous? Have you thought about how champions have died in the past? And the quill's whizzing across the paper behind them. And she's like, you faced death in the past. How would you say that that's affected him? Like, is that the trauma in your past that maybe made you feel like you have to prove yourself, to live up to your name? And Harry's like, dude, I didn't enter. Again. So she switches it up again, and she's like, can you remember your parents at all? How do you think they'd feel if they knew you were competing? Proud, worried, angry? So, quote from the book, Harry was feeling really annoyed now. How on earth was he to know how his parents would feel if they were alive? He looks to the quill. Tears fill those startling green eyes as our conversation turns to the parents he can barely remember. So the tone of this is drastically different from the book to the movie. In the movie, it's comical. Mm-hmm. He's like, my eyes are not glistening with the ghost of my past. But in the book, he's like, mad. It's like, I don't have tears in my eyes. You know what I mean? It's just really different. Yeah. So, saved by the Dumbledore. He opens the door, right? Opens the door of the broom cupboard, and Rita snatches up that Quick Quotes quill super fast, stuffs it in her bag, because it's not really like a popular thing to use in the Wizarding world. It's frowned upon. So she's like, did you see my piece in the paper about the International Confederation of Wizards Conference? And Dumbledore's like, yeah, enchantingly nasty. I really liked when you called me an obsolete dingbat. And Rita doesn't even look abashed. She's like, oh, I was just making a point on your old-fashioned ideas. No big deal.
Before we go on, I want to ask the people that write songs for us to please write a song saved by the Dumbledore to the theme song Saved by the Bell. Thank you. Goodbye.
I thought of that when I wrote it, but I've never seen it.
It's like that's like the Batman.
Oh my god.
It's so late.
It's 10:30 and we're like 2 hours past my bedtime.
It literally is though.
And then I'm also going to apologize because I didn't type my notes up. So I'm going to have to read my own handwriting, and sometimes that's a struggle.
It is not good. I will not lie.
I tried hard because then I'm like, Sarah, you're going to have to read this. Because I worked for 3 days straight, and I had no time to type them up. So 'tis time to weigh the wands. So it can't start if one of the champions is being held hostage in the closet. Mm-hmm. So Harry's happy to get away from Rita, because let's be honest, who wouldn't be? And the champions are sitting in the room with all the judges. Rita is in the corner. Dumbledore then introduces Ollivander to the group. So he's there to inspect the wands to make sure that they are tournament ready. Woo, 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 woo. Up first is Fleur's wand.
Sarah, I just want to say that's one of mine and Meg's favorite things that you do.
Oh, I'm 99% sure that my sister hates it.
It's so funny.
Like, she can't stand it.
Especially with the finger guns. Continue, I'm sorry.
Let's get through your notes.
So, Ollivander twirls her wand around in his hand like a baton, and it emits pink and gold sparks.
Ooh, I like that.
So, it's 9.5 inches, inflexible, and it's rosewood.
Ooh.
And then he was like, ooh, this core, and she says the core is Vila hair from her grandmother. So then Harry's like, ooh, I'll have to tuck that little nugget of knowledge away to tell Ron, and he's like, oh, wait, I'm not talking to him. And then he literally says, let me find the quote, because he is a little snarky, wouldn't you say? And he's like, yes, I've never used Vila hair myself, of course. I find it makes for rather temperamental wands. However, to each his own, and if this suits you. So then he does like orchidios,
orchideas,
and a bunch of flowers. Yeah, that too. bunch of flowers burst from her wand, and he's like, "Yep, it's fine, working great." But I wanted to not ring a bell. Look up what rosewood, because I looked on Pottermore. It's not on. It's not listed on all the wand woods.
So it's not an Ollivander one.
Well, correct. He didn't make it.
I'm just saying that he doesn't use them.
So I Googled magical properties of rosewood. And so it's a feminine wood. And this is from projectfae.com. So who knows how legitimate this is, if I'm being 1,000% honest. But it says a feminine wood which draws off the element of fire. It's used for healing, spiritual rituals, and love spells. And I thought that was particularly interesting because she is a part Vila. It's excellent for divination and for scrying, primarily feminine and highly spiritual. And this is Bolivian rosewood boosts intuition and is an excellent healer for non-physical ailments.
What's scrying?
So, like, from what I believe, it's like if you're trying to find something, maybe. I'm going to be totally lying because I'm thinking about when they were scrying for people on Charmed. They'd, like, take a map and they'd have something of the persons and it would kind of help you find them. But I could be lying, so I'm going to look it up.
I could look it up, but...
And I don't know how to spell.
That involves typing.
So scry, just that word, is the foretell the future using a crystal ball or other reflective object or service. So I was lying. And so it also says the wood's energy is primarily feminine, focused on spiritual, intuitive health and beauty. Again, interesting with Vilas.
Right.
Bolivian rosewood is motherly, spiritual, and nourishing. It lends a boost to an intuitive thought and feeling and is thus excellent in divination and scrying. A healing wood, rosewood can be used in all healing rituals as it's especially effective in spiritual healing. In matters dealing with beauty, rosewood can be very effective. Carried or worn as a charm, this wood will enhance feminine beauty and feminine grace. It would be good for love spells as well, but not those conducted with maturity, but only those conducted with maturity and wisdom. Frivolous energy will not be enhanced by this wood. And I was like, that's super interesting. And I also wanted to say they're rosewood essential oils, and I guess they're attributed, their properties are analgesics, which is like a pain reliever, antidepressant, antiseptic, and aphrodisiac, antibacterial, and a couple other things. But I thought that was interesting from the internet.
It is interesting.
That's really
And
cool.
then there's nothing, I didn't really see much about wand cores with, because we don't have anything on Pottermore, because the only ones are the ones that he uses. But I thought that was interesting.
I wonder if Vila hair is temperamental because Vilas are like so temperamental.
Cool.
You know, like
Good
their like their personality just like changes in an instant.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then I'm gonna read from, I have the wand collection book that you can get, and they have all three champions, well, four, I guess. They have Harry, obviously, but it says Fleur de la Cour, Beauxbaton Academies of words of magic. I was gonna say of music. Student Fleur de la Cour is the Triwizard Tournament champion of her school. Beauxbaton wands come out in grand style among the chic French boarding school girls, and like the uniforms worn by the girls who wield them, Beauxbaton wands are topped with a tasteful flourish. Fleur's wand is as elegant and graceful as she is. The handle curves with a flourishing spiral. A luxurious leaf wraps itself around the length of the tapering wand, suggestive of the edge of a petticoat or a parasol. It's very pretty.
It's very fair.
It's very feminine.
Yeah.
Yes.
They
very
sell it
pretty.
at Universal. In case anybody
All right.
cares.
Not me. No, I'm just kidding.
Done with that page of notes.
I was just thinking, I do want to get a wand when I go down there, but I don't know whose.
I'm
What
gonna
did
get one
I-
as well.
I don't think. Oh, I got the one that chose me. I got really confused. So, good old Cedric is next. So I'm gonna read because he says, "Mr. Diggory, you're next." So he says, now this is one of mine, isn't it?" said Mr. Ollivander with a much more enthusiasm as Cedric handed over his wand. "Yes, I remember it well, containing a single hair from the tail of a particularly fine male unicorn. Must have been 17 hands. I don't know what that means. Nearly gored me with his horn after I plucked his tail. Yeah, I'd probably try to gore you too if you plucked the hair from my head or tail or anywhere.
Do you have a tail?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would.
12 1/4 inches. Ash.
That is gigantic.
Pleasantly springy. It's in fine condition. You treat it regularly? He said polished it last night, said Cedric, grinning. And so I'm gonna, again, read from, Megan.
17 hands is like a measurement for, I think, how tall a horse is. That's like a measurement with horses.
How many hands is Danny DeVito?
I don't know.
Half. That's so sad.
I too am half.
So, what did we say? His wand is ash. So I'm gonna read from Pottermore. It
Good
says,
luck reading Ollivander.
the ash wand cleaves to its one true master and ought not to be passed on or gifted from the original owner because it will lose power and skill. This tendency is extreme if the core is of unicorn, which we know Cedric's is. Old superstitions regarding wands rarely bear close examination, but I find that the old rhyme regarding rowan, chestnut, ash, and hazel wands, so rowan gossips, chestnut drones, ash is stubborn, hazel moans.
That's Ma'am Hazel.
Okay. He says they contain a small nugget of truth. Those wizards and witches best suited to ash wands are not, in my experience, lightly swayed from their beliefs or purposes. I think that very much represents Cedric. Yeah. However, the brash or overconfident witch or wizard who often insists on trying wands of this prestigious wood will be disappointed by its effect. The ideal owner may be stubborn and will certainly be courageous, but never crass or arrogant. Which again,
very well.
I think is I don't know much about the stubbornness,
right?
But I think that he's very courageous, and he doesn't seem arrogant or crass. Like, he just seems like a good old boy,
Yeah.
And then his core being unicorn. So unicorn hair generally produces the most consistent magic and is least subject to fluctuations and blockages. Wands with unicorn cores are generally the most difficult to turn to the dark arts. They are the most faithful of all wands and usually remain strongly attached to their first owner, irrespective of whether he or she was an accomplished witch or wizard. Minor disadvantages of unicorn hair are that they do not make the most powerful wands, although the wand would may compensate, and that they are prone to melancholy if seriously mishandled, meaning the hair may, quote-unquote, die and need replacing. And I think that, I mean, I guess you can't really take in, or you should take in, Cursed Child, because if you go back and turn time and you make a fool of Cedric, he turns to the dark arts. But other than that,
honestly,
and then I'm
I think
gonna
that,
read.
like, people hate that about Cursed Child, but like, you never know what actions will do to somebody. I think it's a great message.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read from the Wand book, and it says, Cedric Diggory, Tri-Wizard Tournament champion. Cedric Diggory was a Hufflepuff prefect, distinguished seeker, and Quidditch team captain. And it says, actor Robert Pattinson states that a favorite scene during Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire was during the third task of the Tri-Wizard Tournament, in which Victor Crumb is under the Imperious Curse and attacks Cedric when Harry's in the middle of the crossfire. And we're both screaming at each other, telling Harry to get down, and Crumb screaming in Bulgarian. Sort of. I don't know what he's screaming about. Cedric Swan is black-tipped baton style, except it's a baton. Made from the same mold as Padma Patil's. Is that how you say? Yeah, Padma Patil's wand, but lighter in color. It is etched with wheel-like designs and alchemical. That's not a word.
What are you saying?
Alchemy?
But it's not alchemy, it's alchemical. And it's not alchemical. With Cedric talking about polishing his wand last night, Harry looked down at his own wand. He could see finger marks all over it. Just funny to me. He gathered a fistful of rope from his knee and tried to rub it clean surreptitiously. Several gold sparks shot out of the end of it. Fleur Delacour gave him a very patronizing look, and he desisted. Something that you would do. Oh, 1,000%. Think of him like, oh, I gotta get this clean.
Right.
And he's like, oh no, now people know.
Right.
My wand is not clean. All right, so then Ollivander sends a stream of silver smoke rings across the room from the tip of Cedric's wand and pronounced himself satisfied. And then up next is Victor Krum.
Grum.
I love you. Victor, I do. So Ollivander immediately recognizes the wand maker as Grigorovich. So
Hello.
some fun facts, if you didn't know, now you do, about Grigorovich. He once owned the Elder Wand, and it was stolen from him by Grindelwald, which I'm assuming we're gonna. Oh no, he already has it, doesn't he? In whatever those movies are called.
I think
Fantastic
he
Beasts.
already has it.
Yeah, so
Well-
I too have the older one.
He does already
Yes,
have it because Abernathy has it in his hand at the top of
Yeah.
Makusa.
Yes.
So we know that
Megan.
we see later on. Oh yeah, your hand's up.
And she forgot.
Hold on, what were we just talking about? Oh, Grigorovich. I was going to say that foreshadowing again for Deathly Hallows because we're going to learn more about how Grigorovich, ties into the story. And this is,
Sure.
I just think that there's so much that is just like sprinkled into Goblet that is like direct correlation to Deathly Hallows.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole fact file-ish kind of thing with Grigorovich. So we know later on in the book 7 that he's pursued by Voldemort and ultimately killed because they're looking for the Elder Wand. But at that time, like, Harry has no idea what they're looking for. And we know that he retired soon after Krum bought his wand because he says he was like, I was one of the last ones he sold one to. And in Deathly Hallows, Krum says he was the best wand maker. So, I'm trying to think if I had any other notes on Grigorovich I wanted to say. We know he's a wand dude. Pretty cool stuff. But, like, it was cool because I was looking up stuff and for Deathly Hallows, the scene where, like, they're talking about it, because I completely forgot that, like, Krum went to Bill and Fleur's wedding. And they're talking about it because he brings up, like, he's sitting there and he's trying to talk to Hermione, and Ron gets, like, jealous, so he literally says to her, he, like, come and dance. So he, like, takes her away, and then Krum was like, oh, are they together? Asking Harry, who's, like, Polyjuice Potion to be Barney or Barry or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, are they together? He's like, sort of. And then he was, like, asking him, like, how he knows Xenophilius Lovegood because he sees the sign of Grindelwald on his chest because he's got the Deathly Hallows on his chest or whatever, like the necklace. And then he talks about the wand because he was like, how do you know, like, that's who made my wand? And he's like, oh, I think I heard about it or whatever. But then I, like, totally off topic, but I thought it was so funny because he literally says, shoot, where is it? I have to go down. He's a wand maker. Yeah, we know this. Retired. Oh, he goes, this girl is very nice looking. And Harry, like, sees he's pointing at Ginny. And he goes, is she also a relative of yours? And Harry's like, yeah, suddenly irritated. She's seeing someone, jealous type, big bloke. You wouldn't want to cross him. Just made me giggle. Because then he was like, what, he said, draining his goblet and getting to his feet, is the point of being an international Quidditch player if all the good-looking girls are taken. And it made me giggle. All right. So, Krum's wand is Hornbeam and Dragon Heartstring Core, and I just wanted y'all to know that so is Ollivander's. His own wand is Hornbeam and Dragon Heartstring.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that
Neat.
cool? And he sees, he's like, it's rather thick and it's quite rigid.
Thick describes it, like, because he's like,
He's like,
Krum,
oh, it's like thick.
like a
Well,
thick guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 10 1/4 inch length. And so I'll tell you the meaning of his wand and core. Yeah.
Is the design of Krum's like curved? the actual design. I feel like it's curved, which I think is cool.
Kind of. Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? It looks like a bird.
It does look like. It looks like Nessie.
Okay.
Shout out to Nessie. Nessie lives.
Okay.
I believe.
I saw
I
it when
believe
we were on the Hogwarts Express.
I believe in Nessie.
Yeah, she was
So,
there.
Hornbeam, and like when I was reading this, because I was reading it from a PDF on the internet on my phone, and I was like, does that say Hornbeam or Horbeam?
Bees?
Hornbeam.
Bees? Arrested Development.
So, my own wand is made of Hornbeam, and so it is with all due modesty that I state that Hornbeam selects its life mate, the talented witcher wizard, with a
Life mate.
single pure passion, which some might call obsession, though I prefer the term vision, which for Ollivander you would think his obsession
Wands.
is wands, with Crumb it's Quidditch.
Like it.
Yes.
Didn't we talk about this being a potential wandwood for Moody?
Yep.
I don't know.
I wasn't on that conversation.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
we
I
did.
mean,
think
that
we
could
talked
be,
about
that could be a good idea.
because of his obsession with constant vigilance.
It
in the
was
dark
hard
arts.
because there were so many
that
wands
matched
that
him.
Katie pulled up matched
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So it says, well, so with the obsession, which will almost always be realized, Hornbeam wands adapt more quickly than almost any other to their owner's style of magic, and will become so personalized so quickly that other people will find them extremely difficult to use, even for the most simple of spells. Hornbeam wands it's such a struggle for me to say it. Hornbeam wands likewise absorb their owner's code of honor, whichever that might be, and will refuse to perform acts, whether it be for good or ill, that do not tally with their master's principles, are particularly fine-tuned and sentient wand. Cool beans, I think. And then, with the core being Dragon Heartstring, as a rule, Dragon Heartstrings produce wands with the most power and which are capable of the most flamboyant spells. Dragon wands tend to learn more quickly than other types, while they can change allegiance if won from their original master. They always bond strongly with the current owner. The Dragon wand tends to be easiest to turn to the dark arts, though will not incline that way of its own accord. It is also the most prone of the three cores to accidents, being somewhat temperamental. Which I like. I like the idea that like it's powerful. Like for Ollivander, he needs a powerful wand if he's going to create wands, you know. So in the wand book, it says, for Victor Crumb, Durmstrang Institute student and Bulgarian national Quidditch team seeker, Victor Crumb is the Triwizard Tournament champion for his wizarding school. The Durmstrang Institute is known. I don't like that they call it an institute.
Why?
I don't know. Do they call it that in the book? I've never heard of it.
No, I think they just say Durmstrang.
Yeah. It's known as one of the leading schools for magic in all of Europe. Set in the northern realm of the continent, producer David Heyman talks about the fierce, cool attitude of the Durmstrang boys. They're quite austere and intimidating, and so are their wands. Victor carries a wand whose handle resembles a bird's head, a nod to the eagle symbol of the Durmstrang Institute. It's thick and roughly cut with a natural curve. That's what it looks like.
I still think it's like Nessie.
It does look like
It
Nessie.
does.
So then the spell that Ollivander uses is Avis, which is the Latin word for bird. So small birds,
Small birds.
small birds,
Can I tell you about some small birds?
they blast out of the wand, and then they fly out the window. And then Ron.
Like Hermione and her birds on run.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I wanted to say Ron. And then Ollivander's like, your wand's good, bye. And now, it's the man of the hour. The guy that put his name in the Goblet of Fire 50 times just so he could be picked. Harry's turn.
God.
So he hands his wand over, and Ollivander's eyes suddenly gleam, and he says, yes, yes, how well I remember.
Ooh.
And it's almost like, he got excited. Like, he's like happy to look at wands, but he got really excited about looking at Cedric's because that's one of his. And then, like, he didn't care about the other ones, but I think he probably was like, kind of cool. This is a Grigorovich wand. And he's like, My crowning jewel, baby. And so I'm going to read from the book because it says, Ollivander's like, I remember, and Harry's like, yeah, bro, me too. So he says, 4 summers ago, on his 11th birthday, he had entered Mr. Ollivander's shop with Hagrid to buy a wand. Mr. Ollivander had taken his measurements and then started handing him wands to try. Harry had waved what felt like every wand in the shop until at last he found the one that suited him. This one, which was made of holly, 11 inches long, and contained a single feather from the tail of a phoenix. Mr. Ollivander had been very surprised that Harry had been so compatible with this wand. Curious, he said. Curious. And not until Harry asked what was curious had Mr. Ollivander explained that the phoenix feather in Harry's wand had come from the same bird that supplied the core of Lord Voldemort's. Also, it came from our beaky friend.
Oh my god.
Foxy Fox.
Oh.
Who is also Credence's phoenix.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah, me too.
That's
1,000%.
not canon yet.
But it
That's
will
For
be.
anyone listening.
That's Swish and Flick's canon.
That's Swish and Flick
Hex
canon.
canon, yeah. Hex canon. What is that word?
I
So Harry is hoping that Ollivander won't tell the room that little tidbit about the connection to Voldemort's wand, because he himself hadn't told anybody. And I said this information comes in handy to know at the end of this book with their little connexion at the graveyard. So it's like, here, remember, these wands have a connection. Remember this by the end of the book.
Yeah, she really just throws things out there for you.
Yeah.
To pick
for
up
sure.
but not for you. They're not intended for you to pick up the first time.
Yes.
No. Little
Correct.
breadcrumbs.
It's just so casual.
It's like a parfait, you know? You got to keep digging for those delicious little layers.
Start with beef, sauteed with peas and onions.
You have ladyfingers, some jam. Which I made from scratch. It was the custard you made from scratch. So Ollivander took much longer looking at Harry's wand than the rest of the other champions. And I said, I'm wondering if, 1, if he's just admiring his handiwork. And 2, if he thinks both Harry and Voldemort's wand are his crowning glories. Because he was saying in the first time when Harry goes to, like, get that wand, he was saying, he's like, you're gonna do great things. He's like, because the owner of the other one did great things. Terrible, yes, but great. So I wonder if he's thinking, like, these 2 wands, like,
powerful.
are crazy, you know? Like, you see all the stuff that Voldemort's done with it, and then all the things that Harry's gonna do with it, like,
And since the
he's
wand
like, I
chooses,
made. Yeah.
he knows that Harry's gonna be bananas.
Yeah. And so then he makes wine flow from his cup, and I said, whoa, where's my glass? And then he's like, it's in perfect condition. So then I figured I will tell you, well, I mean, do you guys want me to read about his wand? Because we've read about it. Holly is one of the rare wands, woods, traditionally considered to be protective. It works most happily with those who may need overcoming a tendency to anger and how do you say that? Impetuosity. At the same time, Holly wands often choose owners who are engaged in some dangerous and often spiritual quest.
You don't
Harry. Holly is one of those wands that varies most dramatically in performance depending on the wand core, and it is notoriously difficult wood to team with phoenix feather. As the wood's volatility, that's not what it says, conflicts strangely with the phoenix's detachment. In the unusual event of such parent, it is an ideal match. However, nothing and nobody can stand in their way. Which is interesting because those 2 battle each other. Well, what is his? I don't know what his is, but
Voldemort's is you.
I like the idea that, like, nothing and no one, like, that's why that wand and Harry,
They battle.
you're gonna win. So Phoenix, it's the rarest core type. Phoenix
That
feathers
is.
are capable of the greatest range of magic, though they may take longer than either unicorn or dragon cores to reveal this. They show the most initiative, sometimes acting of their own accord, a quality that many witches and wizards dislike.
Own accord.
So
Own accord. 7.
Phoenix feather wands are always the pickiest when it comes to potential owners, for the creature from which they are taken is often the most independent and detached in the world. These wands are the hardest to tame and to personalize, and their allegiance is usually hard won.
That's my core.
Interesting. I don't think it's mine. I don't remember what mine is. if I'm being honest.
Mine is 9 3/4, hazel, phoenix.
I don't remember
And
any
it's
of mine.
described as boss.
Okay.
Tiffany.
So from the wand book on Harry Potter, his is not with the section of the tournament champions. His is the very first wand in the book. So it says, Harry Potter, famous as the boy who lived, acquires his first wand at the age of 11 during his first trip to Diagon Alley to buy school supplies before attending Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The wand that chooses Harry and Ollivander's shop is said to be of hollywood with a phoenix feather core. The wand prop seen on set is smooth and unassuming in its design. And Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, except it's Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh my god.
What is going on?
I don't know. In Prisoner of Azkaban, director Alfonso Cuarón offered the actors an opportunity to upgrade their wands. Actor Daniel Radcliffe chose a new wand prop with a handle retaining its outer bark, suggesting that it had been whittled from a single root or branch. It is crafted from Indian rosewood, interesting, which has a deep red color. The bark seen on Harry's wand was sculpted, but the carving was done on real wood. The top of the wand was cast from a tree burr. This organic design makes it seem more mysterious and magical, says art director Hattie Story.
I like it. It's so hairy.
I do too.
like
And
it.
I also like to point out that Daniel Radcliffe is that they had to keep making him wands because he would pretend to like have a drum set and wore them out.
Mm-hmm. He broke so many of them.
There's some crazy number of how many he went through. It's a lot,
Yeah.
though.
I also like that they would like search every cast member and like extras
Yeah.
like to make sure you weren't taking a wand home.
Did anybody get one out?
I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, so I bet you some of the actual real like core cast did, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So then Dumbledore dismisses them, saying that they can go back to their classes, and he's like, actually, just go to dinner because classes are almost over.
Mm-hmm.
But then Hagrid's like, wait, we gotta take pictures. Pixar didn't happen.
What?
God.
Pixar didn't happen.
You said it so fast. I didn't understand.
So the pictures took a while with the group shots because Madame Maxim, wherever she like stood, cast a shadow, so the light was terrible. So what they ended up doing is like she sat and everyone stood around her. Karkaroff, just funny, kept twirling his mustache. And then Crumb slunk into the shadows, which Harry's like he thought he'd be used to being this because he's an international Quidditch star, so he'd be used to like getting his picture taken and stuff. And then the photographer kept trying to bring Fleur to like the front, like to be front and center, but Rita kept grabbing Harry and dragging him to be like the greater prominence, like wanted him to be the star. So then they finally got their solo shots, and then they were free to go. So then Harry just wanted to go to dinner, and so he goes, and the poor guy sits by himself. This is not funny, it's sad.
Aww.
Sits alone at the end of the Gryffindor table, and because, no one was there. I don't even know where Hermione was. Probably in the library. So he goes back to his room. So Ron's there, and he's like, dude, you have an owl, and that we have detention with Snape tomorrow. Don't be late. And then Ron leaves the room, and then Harry like almost wants to go follow him, like, and he's like, I don't even know. It says like, I don't even know if I want to go and talk to him or like hit him. But he really wants to know what the letter says, and because he's like, I'm assuming it's from Sirius because the owl is a school owl. So I will read you what Sirius replied. Harry. I can't say everything I would like to in a letter. It's too risky in case the owl is intercepted. We need to talk face to face. Can you ensure that you are alone by the fire in Gryffindor Tower at 1 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd of November? I know better than anyone that you can look after yourself, and while you're around Dumbledore and Moody, I don't think anyone will be able to hurt you. However, someone seems to be having a good try. Entering you in the tournament would have been very risky, especially right under Dumbledore's nose. Be on the watch, Harry. I still want to hear about anything unusual. Let me know about the 22nd of November as quickly as you can. Sirius.
22nd of November.
That would have been a Tuesday. It was a
That
Thursday.
is the day Marty and I started dating.
Sick. It was the 22nd of November.
You is easy 'cause the chapter's over. La 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 la.
Lightning bolt round questions?
Why is Tiffany so super cool?
I guess I kind of already asked one when I asked about Rita.
Yeah.
Whose wand out of the 4 champions do you like the best?
Look-wise or
Look-wise.
stuff? Floors is very cool.
Yeah,
Floors.
Gosh
Floor.
darn it.
Floor.
Get over it.
I like
Get
Table's
over it.
wand, personally.
do
Get over it.
I like Fleur and I like Crumbs.
Fleur.
Table?
Fleur.
Yeah, floor and table.
Oh my god.
Katie, we're gonna have some words.
I like Cedric's.
Of course you do.
I just like how Ollivander describes it, that's all.
Uh-huh.
It's got a story behind it. It's cool.
What else? What?
This was a packed chapter.
Yeah.
I feel like it's.
I don't even know what I read or said or did.
You
I feel like this was like 3
not much
episodes
correctly.
worth.
I'll say that.
It's just I'm so tired.
No, I mean,
Like, can you believe that in the beginning of this episode we were talking about how Harry didn't want to go down to the Great Hall for breakfast?
yeah, the GH, man.
It's just so much.
General Hospital.
It's
Yeah.
General Hospital.
Well,
I'm trying to think. What would you have brought Harry instead of Toasties?
Probably
Sausages.
sausage. Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
French toast.
Ooh.
I'm trying to think of something easy to eat. An egg sandwich.
Ooh.
It's easy to eat. Easy to carry, you know?
Yeah.
Would
I would have
you
brought
have...
him 2 handfuls of cream of wheat.
Would you have retaliated in any way against Snape if you had witnessed the whole confrontation with Hermione?
I'd have to. That's one of those moments where,
I think
like,
me too.
I'd reach deep down in my puffness and be like, this is one of those times you gotta speak up. And I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
I think I'd be like, you mean? And then he would be like, detention. But it
True.
would make me feel better.
Yeah. Sometimes you, like, there's just times where you gotta stand up. And I feel like that would make me feel like that's one of those times.
For true.
I agree. Do we want to go to
Fan
the fan
story?
3 little ghosties sitting on their posties, eating burnt toasties, telling big boasties.
Oh my god.
That's the book. It's called 3 Little Ghosties. You're
That's
welcome.
so cute.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yes, fan story, please.
Okay, so this week comes from Cheyenne Foster.
Hey, Cheyenne.
Hey! My love for Harry Potter is very new. I obviously knew about the movies and had friends that were completely obsessed. Did they have hornbeam wands? But I never fell in love with the series until about 3 years ago. Thank you. I distinctly remember attempting to read the books in 6th grade, 2008 and 2009.
Okay.
I had always excelled in reading, but was struggling so hard to get through the first book. So inevitably, I gave up. Get out of here! I gave up. I would watch the movies when they would come on, but I never truly paid any attention. This was until I met my now fiancé, Wesley. He has a younger sister, Amy, and she was in love with the book series. We spent a lot of time together, and she finally convinced me to give Harry Potter another shot. We began my obsession slowly. First, her and I spent all day at their parents' house, binge-watching the movies. She has the box set. Then in June of 2017, I went with her family to Disney World.
Woo, 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 woo.
While on this trip, we took 2 days off to go to Universal Orlando.
Woo, woo, woo.
While I was thoroughly entertained with the Dr. Seuss area, I was teaching pre-K at the time, and Dr. Seuss was life. Come on, Dr. Seuss is life.
That's my life.
Amy was dying to get to the Wizarding World. As we walked over, I was not emotionally prepared for how amazing it was going to be. However, I felt as though I didn't truly appreciate everything because I hadn't read the books yet. So long pointless story short, I bought the first 3 books at half-price books and began reading right away. We now have a trip planned for November 2019 for my birthday. I can't wait to see how reading the books will change how I view everything.
That's awesome.
How all this led to me finding y'all's podcast is kind of funny. So thanks to Amy again, I began listening to podcasts. I figured I'd start with something I love, Disney. I'm sure you know where this is going now. This led me to discovering Grown Up Kids. I started listening on my way to work and became hooked. I heard Katie and Megan mention Swish and Flick and decided to give it a try. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I truly adore this podcast. I love what y'all do and how funny y'all are. I'm currently on episode number 8. I don't know when this was given to us, so I don't know how far along she is now. So I know I have a lot of catching up to do, but I can truly say that listening to you four is the absolute best part of my day. By the way, I'm totally the Slytherin version of Sarah, Irish and all. I just felt like typing the email, small novel, to let y'all know how appreciated y'all are. This is also why I chose to become a patron. Thank you. I have never in my life been brought so much joy just listening to people talk about a subject so passionately. Thanks y'all for so much. Thanks y'all so much for everything. Cheyenne, thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
a
you.
cool
Like,
story.
it just blows my mind when people like say we bring them joy. Like that is so awesome.
Yeah,
you
that's
bring no
crazy.
one joy ever.
I bring Alana joy.
God, she's so cute. I can't stand
It
it.
makes me sick.
We
Oh,
appreciate that
God.
you wouldn't toss us out like that Marie lady says too, because we bring you joy.
But here's
Oh my God.
here's the
Who's
thing.
Marie?
That lady that tells you
Maria
to throw
Kondo.
things out.
Oh.
It doesn't
Forget that
spark
lady.
joy.
I'm not about that
Take
life.
it and get rid of it.
Have you guys ever thought about going back and listening? Because I wonder what hooks people in those first episodes, because I truly don't know what they're like.
I'm
I-
scared.
I'm
thought
like
about it.
embarrassed to go back and listen.
I don't ever want to listen to the first episode. I'm sure it's horrendous.
Actually,
Because all it is you and I and all of us talking and everyone's talking and we're all talking all at the same time.
Gosh.
No, it's really good. I listened to it actually not too long ago, just the first one. I really enjoy it. It's us talking about our houses and like just our personalities and what our wands are, and it's really cute. I like it. We're cute.
We cute. You know who else is cute? Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. I'm glad that, you know,
Yes.
we all find Potter in our own ways, and sometimes we need a nudge from somebody or a nudge from ourselves or whatever. So I can't wait to hear an update from you of you going back to the Wizarding World. So
Yeah.
please, shoot us an email or something. Post on the page. I want to know.
Also, thank you for listening to Grown Up Kids. We
Yeah.
really appreciate that.
You're a grown-up kid and a Swisher.
Being a patron.
And
Mhm.
a patron.
Thank
It's
you
a
so
bomb
much.
black.
All right. Social media.
Social media.
You can find us on Facebook at Swish and Flick Podcast and on Twitter and Instagram at Swish Flickcast. You can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I've been randomly posting Katie and mine's Harry Potter related vlogs from our trip to the Swish and Flick page in case people are already subscribed there so that you can find them. So if you're interested, you can check those out. Also, I'm working on our vlog of New York so that will be posted hopefully shortly. And
I literally was like, when did you guys go to New York?
also, you can join us on Patreon to gain access to the Felix Files at patreon.com/swishflickcast.
And a lot more than that, too. Go check it out.
Yeah, lots more. And it just recently relaunched, so go check that out, because when this comes out, it will have. Also, check out our website, swishflickcast.com, to find all that info in one spot, along with all of our merchandise.
Yep.
Yup.
Tiff,
That's
what's
it.
going on with you?
Getting old. It's almost your birthday.
Oh gosh, when does this come out?
Oh no, will it already have been your birthday?
No, it'll
Close.
already have been mine.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy
Happy
birthday!
Sarah.
You're okay. I wanted to plug another podcast
No, we don't do that here.
that we sent some fun things to.
Yeah.
So they said their episodes are going to start airing May 2nd and go each Thursday in May. And that podcast is called We Watched a Thing. So they are going to be binge watching the Harry Potter movies, and they're going to be doing it in a fun adult way. And so we sent them a little drinking game. So,
Yep, some drinking game rules.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
yes.
I
So,
I will say I don't know if they use adult language or not. So just
Yeah.
be wary of all of that. We don't know if they're PG, PG-13, R rated.
So what you have to do is you have to just be weary.
Yeah.
Going in. No. Really cool. Really nice to chat with them. They are on Twitter at We Watched a Thing. It says whoops, I clicked out. Join 2 best friends, 1 cameraman, and 1 visual effects artist as they catch up and talk movies. So I thought that
Awesome.
was pretty cool. And one that they have pinned, their pinned post is they did The Princess Bride.
Well, that's a good movie.
Fantastic.
That's my sister's favorite movie.
Yeah, so I wanted to plug them because we worked a little bit with them. And we're going to be working with a few other people, hopefully pretty soon, and get those out to you. But, I don't know, guys. I have like 2 months left of school, and I'm chomping at the bit.
I feel ya. Except I don't get a summer break.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Tis the field I chose.
Yeah. Lucky.
But what am I doing? What am I doing? I started a new workout program. It's going pretty well. I'm sore. I can't walk. Can't sit down. Alana's cool.
God, she's literally the cutest thing in
She
my
has
entire
like
life.
8 teeth. It's
Crazy.
out of control.
She's like a T-Rex.
She
She's
is.
like 9 months going on 9.
She's eating like actual food now. Like tonight, she had like a little bites of hamburger and potato and peas.
Ugh.
And
She roared like a lion
Yeah.
today.
she gives high fives.
She's so cute.
She's awesome. Marty is as hot as ever.
Ugh.
We're thriving. We're thriving in the
Thriving.
Valley House. We're thriving.
How about
All
you,
right.
Maggie?
Thank you. Next.
Katie and I are now daily vlogging because why not throw something else into the mix? So,
How's that going?
well, I don't know because technically we haven't started yet, right? But when this comes out, we will have been doing it for a week. So, you can follow us. We've actually changed our YouTube channel from Main Street 9 3/4 to the Petrus Family to make it a little bit more broad.
You're gonna say the
And-
Petrus File.
So yeah, we're still gonna sprinkle in our UK trips we haven't decided what day, but there's gonna be 1 day a week that you'll get 2 vlogs for a while until we catch up with all of our extra footage. And yeah, I mean, like, you can just it's not gonna be like we're gonna do something super exciting every single day. We're literally just like making a vlog so that we have a record of our life. It's just something fun
Like a
that we want to
live
do.
journal.
It's like a live journal, and I like editing videos. It's really fun for me. I love recording stuff, so I just am excited. We're also going to be recording our fertility journey on there as well because our first appointment is coming up in a couple of weeks. So we'll get the ball rolling on that.
Exciting.
I'm so ready for it.
Are you ready for it?
So ready. So yeah, go follow us at the Petrus Family. All of our social media has changed too. So if you were following Main Street 9 3/4, it's now called the Petrus Family, except we are going to have to make a new Facebook page. So go like it.
Please, because Facebook's dumb. I don't know what to plug.
Whimsy.
Sure, yeah. So Meg and I have a design, like actual like professional design business. So if you guys need anything designed from identity, like logos or branding, or if you just need like an invite for something or you need something for your wedding, hit us up at whimsycreativedesign@gmail.com.
And on Instagram and Facebook, Whimsy Creative Design.
Yep, shoot us a message.
Better get those free invites made for me, or I'll pay you in gum. I'll pay you in fruit stripe gum. It stays good for like 2 seconds.
Oh my god.
Smell like fruit stripes gum.
What are you doing, pretty little girl?
Just trying to survive. I made it through. Well, who knows? As of right now, I'm hoping to make it to another birthday. Might not have happened. I only own today.
You're an idiot.
But yeah, I don't have anything going on. Just trying to figure out school stuff. I have to talk to a man about education. Just working 9 to 5, except that's a lie. I work 7 to 7. I don't know.
Watching Alana.
Yeah, I watched The Beeb. Gearing up for my next vacation, which isn't for 2 months, so I really have nothing to gear up for. Yet.
You're getting a new bookshelf.
Yeah. I kind of broke my Harry Potter bookshelf, so I have to get another one. So I'm going to IKEA.
I think you said that you tried to move it, and it was like, nope.
Yeah. I moved it because I rearranged my room because I got a new bed. And moved the bookshelf, and something like fell. I'm like, that's weird. And then I looked, I was like, oh, the bookshelf fell. And then I tried to put it back together, and it was like, nope. So I took all of my books off of it and put them back on, and it literally was like, no, honey, we're over holding all of your things.
Do you think it pulled a Humpty Dumpty?
I don't know. I just know that the bookshelf was very cheap, like inexpensive. So now I'm going to shell out some cash, which is fine. It's only like $100, which isn't bad for a bookshelf.
Mm.
The one I want. It's long, not tall.
Got you.
I like those.
It's going on the
Jinx, you owe me a
side
Coke.
that like my wall is funky.
Are Cokes vegan?
Yes.
Yep.
That'd be sick if they weren't.
Well, I don't know.
There's
There's like
surprised at the stuff that's not vegan. McDonald's fries are not vegan.
It's because of what they're fried in.
right.
Probably because they're fried in the same stuff that everything else is fried in.
No, there's like a beef powder or something that's put in them. Same with Wendy's
Really?
fries, I think. Wendy's and McDonald's
know-
fries are not vegan.
They used to be cooked in lard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they taste better, but they're horrendous for you.
Well,
Oh yeah,
I mean-
Katie and I are vegan now, so if anybody has good vegan recipes, email them to us. Thanks. Appreciate it.
oh my gosh.
It's going well so
Tis-
far.
Tis all, friends?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So that concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice!
Oh god, I literally wanted to call him Cedric Wood earlier when I was writing all these notes. And I'm like, it's Oliver Wood. Like, I don't know what was wrong with me.
You ready to get sultry?
Oh, what say? Dear Swishes! Somebody's gonna tour.
Adventure is out there!
Yeah, come down and we'll do whatever. Okay, whatever.
I said, why do you hate me? And he says, because you're so cool.
It was just like, thank you, is what I sounded like.
Well, maybe we should start over then.
Yeah.